What's up, everyone? We are back with some more Mecha Break, but I've got something special for you today. We are actually going to have an early look at Alphard, one of the new strikers being added in Mecha Break Season 1. I was given access to the test server, so I got in here and got a chance to play around with these strikers before they actually hit the game in the full release. So we are going to look through all of its abilities. I'll show you off some of how it works in the training room, and then at the end we're going to show off some actual gameplay in a match. Keep in mind this is the test server, so everything here is subject to change. And I'll also talk about a few other things that are kind of unique about this situation when we get to it. But I'll do a quick overview of what we've got here. So you can see it is listed as a medium attacker, long-range assault, and frontline bombardment are its secondary distinctions. And we've got kind of average defenses across the board, ballistic defense actually being the lowest, so against itself, because I will spoil a bit, it does have a fair amount of ballistic damage, and Falcon are probably going to be actually some of your biggest threats due to that lower defense there. And physical defense actually being relatively high, the B rank there, so melee might not be quite as effective. And we can also look at, if we go to the mod screen here, we can see its actual defense values in HP. So max HP at 35k, not that high. You're not super tanky, even with the higher physical defense, you might still take a lot of damage and go down relatively quickly to like a Welkin if he locks you in his box and able to land hits on you. In the weaponry, we do have 5 options here: a primary fire, a secondary fire, and then the 3 aux abilities. I won't go too into detail right here because I think it's easier to show off when we are in the training room. But autocan is the primary, that's ballistics damage, rocket pod, secondary fire, blast damage, and both of these are ammo based, so they run on ammo and then they reload. You can manually reload them early if you want to, but pressing reload will reload both of them, so even if one is close to full ammo and the other one isn't, you'll still reload both of them, and they have relatively short reload times. Your first aux ability is the light multi-lock missile. It fires 12 light missiles towards targets you have locked on, and that is also going to be blast damage. And your second ability, this is a movement ability similar to flight, like Falcon and Skyraider. This is the rapid assault mode. Activate this, you'll boost forward at very high speeds. It uses a separate energy gauge, unlike the flyers. So you have your regular energy for moving around, and then you also have special energy for when you're in your rapid assault mode. Maybe more like Aquila's flight mode would probably be a better explanation of how those two different energy bars interact. And then the final aux ability is the Electro Trail. This is a physical damage ability, and you can only use this when you are in the rapid assault mode, and that fires a projectile directly towards an enemy. It staggers them briefly and also leaves a jamming field, kind of like Skyraider's jamming missiles, on top of where it lands and makes contact. So without further ado, let's get into the training and actually see how these abilities kind of work. Alright, so here we are in the training room, and let's go ahead and see what these abilities can do. So starting off, this is the autocannon. Has decent accuracy and decent fire rates. You can see, again, tell here, one full mag almost got through the full fluid armor. And of course, since this isn't like a sniper type weapon, it is going to have to break through fluid armor to deal damage first. It seems more accurate than an Elysinus gun, but that could also just be because it has faster projectile speed. But that is probably the closest comparison, aside from the Falcon gun, that I can think of. And you can fire that autocan at the same time as your secondary fire, which I'll wait here for Hell to respawn to show that off. But that is going to be your primary source of damage when you're fighting, especially when untransformed and not in that rapid assault mode. So you're firing autocan, and then we can also do the rockets as a secondary fire. And they fire in pairs of 2, and then it has a separate reload time. You can keep firing those. And you can see also pretty good damage, also has to break through fluid armor. And when you combine the two, that's how you're going to be doing a lot of your damage. And then aux 1 is the missile barrage. And this is a lot like, I would say, to me, most similar to Stego's third aux ability. Obviously, both the flyers also have spread rocket abilities like this, but the reason I say that is because if you use it up close, you're going to whiff pretty much all of it. You can see there a single missile connected, but if I'm farther back and I use it, you got pretty much all of them hitting there, so a lot more damage from that. So that is something you're going to want to use farther away. We can try here if I get right up close, see if I can shotgun with it. Even then, only 2 of them connected, so since it kind of comes out of the top of your model, maybe against like someone taller than you, it might land more, but in general, you're going to want to put a little bit of distance between you and your target when using that aux ability. And then the most important aux ability is number 2, the rapid assault mode. And rapid does not even really begin to describe it, because you're going to see how fast you go when we activate that. kind of like a melee charge, but a lot more maneuverable. You can see here as I'm moving my mouse, I can kind of change my direction a lot easier. When you're doing like a melee boost, you're kind of locked in the direction you're going, and changing your direction often just kind of makes you do side-to-side dashes, and your view is kind of locked mainly in place. So here I have a lot more control over where I'm looking. I can ascend using the space bar, or whatever your ascend button is, you're on console. Descend using that alt, or whatever you've rebound that to. And you can see at the bottom there that it uses that separate energy bar. So you can fly up with this. You can also use your shift or your boost key to do maneuvers like a flyer, get your energy faster. And then when I run out, I still have my regular energy, so I don't plummet to the ground like a flyer immediately. And then that second energy bar is recharging, I can immediately go back into rapid assault mode. And then my regular energy bar is recharging during that time. So you can kind of dance between the two and stay mobile and up in the air for a long period of time by juggling between those two. And then our final aux ability, aux 3, can only be used while we're in rapid assault mode. So I'm going to try and put some distance between me and hell. And then I'm going to use that. And it straight up killed him, so I didn't really get to see the effect, but it does stagger. Probably similar to like an Elisna's Gauss Cannon or Tricera's Howitzer. Not a full stun, but it does stagger them briefly, and then it also puts that jamming field around them when it connects. And it does physical damage. You can see they're a pretty good amount of damage. The hard part, though, is that since you have to be transformed, and you're probably going to encounter this when you first try out Alphard. Excellent, I'm transformed there. But if, say, you see a target at this distance, you're like, oh, I'm going to go rapid assault mode, hit him with that third aux ability, all my abilities. You transform, you start doing it, and then you're already past him. And you try to turn around, you go for it again, and you're past him again. And you try and untransform, go through it again, and you're already past him. And that's the part you're going to have to figure out. And I've already started to get used to it, because I've been playing Alphard a lot, because it's been fun in the test server. So you kind of have to strafe a lot. You can see here, I'm kind of going in a circle around them. This way I can still keep connecting with damage, using all my abilities. Definitely putting more distance is going to make it easier. But kind of going back and forth like this, anything to stall your approach a bit, to allow you to deal more damage, is kind of the secret to not being in a situation where you keep going flying by them. Because you don't have maneuvers like Skyraider and Falcon, where you can kind of stall your movement with a loop or a downward spiral. You do have to do something like this while you're spamming your abilities towards them. Even there, I still did use my third aux skill too close, so it whiffed. So, yeah, either like the back and forth, like I was doing there, or just the shift in one direction constantly, kind of spiral around while you're turning your camera to keep targeting them. That, I would say, is the secret to figuring this out. But now that we've got a little bit of an overview of the abilities, let me show off the execute, and then we can hop into seeing what some of the actual gameplay looks like in a real match. Alright, so here we are with some actual gameplay on Stella Observatory Isle. I think this is a fantastic map for Alphard to kind of showcase it, because it's massive. So you really get to see what it's like to fly around everywhere. Some important notes, though, before I let you just watch the gameplay without me interrupting it. Since this is test server, there's a limited amount of players, so most of the matches are just going to be up against bots. I think everyone in this match was a bot, so if it looks like I'm just absolutely destroying everybody, keep in mind that the bots aren't the best, so it might look super overpowered. That might not be true when you're against people who actually know what they're doing and can fight back a little bit better than the bots are able to. Second thing, for some reason, in the replay client, it doesn't seem to show the second energy bar for Alphard, so you're only seeing my regular energy here, you're not seeing the second bar for my mobile assault form energy, so if that's a little confusing, just keep that in mind. There is a second bar that you can't see the count for, but it is there. It was there when I was playing, just doesn't show up in the replay for whatever reason. And then, of course, again, this is test server gameplay, so things could change. They may change damage values, all that sort of stuff, so just keep that in mind as well. But with that being said, go ahead and enjoy this gameplay.